The hall is alive with music, laughter, and the faint clinking of crystal glasses. Golden ribbons sway with the movement of air conditioning vents. A six-piece orchestra plays softly in the corner, and the crowd, a mix of diplomats, politicians, and wealthy magnates, radiates elegance and danger all at once. At the head table sits Don Lorenzo Vascari, a man who wears power like a second skin. He's in his late 40s, tall, sharply dressed in an ivory suit, his black hair brushed back, his expression calm and composed. Every gesture he makes commands attention, the way he sets down his fork, the way people lean forward when he speaks. Around him are his men, laughing, clinking glasses, pretending this afternoon is about charity when everyone knows it's about territory. Sunlight spills across the long white tablecloth. Silver utensils gleam. A bottle of expensive red breathes beside a bowl of rare truffles. Every detail whispers luxury and danger. But beneath the table in the corner near the floral arch, there's someone who doesn't belong. A tiny girl, no older than 9, sits quietly on a chair too big for her small frame. Her name is Mina. She's dressed in a simple white dress with soft lace edges, her brown hair tied into a low ponytail. She sits beside a stack of folded napkins, legs swinging nervously, eyes wide with the curiosity of someone who sees the world in silence. Because Mina can't hear it, not like everyone else. Her world is made of movement, lips, eyes, gestures, vibrations in the floor. She can hear faint sounds through her hearing aid, but it's never enough. So she watches people's lips. She reads them. It's her secret window into conversations she's not supposed to understand. Her mother, Elena, is one of the servers, a woman in her 30s with kind eyes and weary hands. She moves quickly between tables, trying to stay invisible, whispering instructions to the other waiters. She told Mina to stay put. Just sit quietly, Tesoro. Don't draw attention. Mina obeys, mostly. She sits still, tracing letters on her napkin with her finger. But curiosity pulls her gaze to the far end of the room, to 4 men in black suits, sitting across from Don Lorenzo. They are Japanese. Silent, impeccably dressed. Each of them wears a different tie color, red, blue, white, and gold, subtle symbols of rank. Their eyes stay focused, their smiles controlled. There's something about their stillness that unsettles her. Their lips move as they speak to one another quietly. No one else notices, but Mina does. She narrows her eyes, studying the shapes of their words like puzzle pieces. Tonight, the sauce. It must look natural. She freezes. Did she read that right? She blinks, leaning slightly forward. The red-tied man continues. When he tastes it, quiet, quick. No noise. Her breath catches. She looks toward Don Lorenzo, still laughing politely, holding his glass of red wine, unaware of the danger across the table. Mina's small hand curls into a fist. The music shifts to something lighter, a waltz perhaps, but all she can hear is the faint hum of her hearing aid, a trembling, electric buzz, and the blood rushing in her ears. She keeps watching their lips. No one will suspect. The girl did well. In the sauce. Her stomach drops. The girl? She looks around, confused. The only other girl nearby is a young Japanese assistant standing behind the men, holding a notepad. Mina wonders if they're talking about her or herself. Her chest tightens. She looks for her mother. Elena is too far away, busy refilling glasses at the opposite end. So Mina keeps staring. Now, one of the men gestures subtly toward the servers. A waiter approaches with a silver tray covered in domed lids. Steam rises as he stops behind Don Lorenzo. Mina's lips part in silent horror. The sauce. They said the sauce. She rises from her chair, heart thudding. The waiter carefully lifts the lid. The rich aroma of seared steak fills the air. Don Lorenzo smiles faintly, cutting a small piece. He dips it into the glossy red-brown sauce. Mina's throat tightens. She takes one step forward, then another, her tiny shoes squeaking faintly against the marble. No one notices her, not yet. The hall is too bright, too busy, too full of laughter. Her small hands tremble as she watches the Don raise the fork. The man in the red tie leans back, lips curving into a thin smile. Mina reads them instinctively. To the end of an era. She gasps. Her heartbeat drowns out everything. She looks around desperately, at the guards, the guests, her mother. No one sees what she sees. Her small voice tries to rise but breaks into silence. Wait, she whispers, but her hearing aid distorts the sound. No one turns. She grabs a napkin and a pen from the nearest table, scribbling words frantically in her childlike handwriting. Poison. Don't eat. She clutches the napkin like it's a shield and runs toward her mother. Elena. She tries to shout, but her voice barely carries. The noise of the orchestra swallows her cry. Her mother turns briefly, sees her daughter, gestures for her to sit back down. Not now, Mina. She mouths firmly. Mina's lip quivers. She looks down at the napkin again. Her handwriting is smudged with sweat. She glances back at the Japanese men. The man in the red tie is watching her now. Their eyes meet, and he smiles. Not warmly, not kindly, but with recognition, like he knows she understood. Mina freezes. The room feels smaller suddenly. She steps back behind a chair, clutching her napkin. Don Lorenzo cuts another piece of steak. The knife glides through effortlessly. Mina's breath hitches. Her hearing aid buzzes again, a sharp, static pop, and through the faint distortion she hears something. Not words, but the vibration of a deep voice near the men. She looks up just in time to see the red-tied man mouth. After this bite, it's done. That's when she knows. There's no doubt left. No hesitation. No time. Her small fingers tighten around the napkin. Her legs move before her mind can catch up. She slips between the guests, dodging legs and skirts, her heart hammering so loud she can almost feel it in her throat. A guard sees her. Hey, where are you going, little one? But she doesn't answer. She keeps running. The music fades out, or maybe her hearing aid cuts off again. She can't tell. All she sees is Don Lorenzo's hand lifting that fork. Closer to his mouth. Closer. Her vision blurs with panic. He's going to die. Mina bursts forward, the napkin still in her hand. And right as the fork touches his lips, the napkin in Mina's hand flutters like a white flag as she bursts between two guards. Hey, stop. One of them yells, startled. Mina doesn't hear it clearly. All she hears is her heartbeat thundering in her ears. She doesn't think. She acts. She reaches the table just as Don Lorenzo lowers his fork toward his lips. Mina lunges forward and slaps the plate. The porcelain shatters against the marble floor. The sauce splashes onto the dough's sleeve and splatters across the polished shoes of the guests around him. For 1 second, nobody moves. The hall goes dead silent. Then, chaos. Glasses rattle, chairs scrape, people murmur, confused. Elena, her mother, gasps, dropping her tray. Mina, she cries out, rushing forward mortified. What are you doing? Guards close in, their hands reaching for the girl. But Don Lorenzo raises a single hand. Stop. His voice slices through the noise like a blade. Calm, commanding, absolute. The room stills again. Mina trembles, breathing fast, eyes wide with fear. She tries to hold up the napkin, her small fingers shaking. The Don looks down at her, his dark eyes unreadable. Little one, he says quietly, you have 5 seconds to tell me why you just ruined a 20,000 euro meal. Elena drops to her knees beside her daughter. Mi scusi, Signor Vescari. She doesn't understand. She's just a child. But Mina, desperate, scribbles frantically on the napkin with the pen tucked behind her ear. Her handwriting is messy, uneven, but clear enough. They said poison in sauce. Don't eat. She thrusts it upward, tears streaking down her cheeks. The Don takes the napkin slowly. His brow furrows. He reads it once, twice. The hall holds its breath. Poison? He repeats softly, his tone calm, too calm. Who told you this? Mina's lips tremble. She looks across the table at the 4 Japanese men. Her hand rises, hesitant. And she points. All 4 freeze. The man with the red tie, the one with the faint scar under his left eye, shifts in his chair. His polite smile falters. His hand moves subtly under the table. One of Lorenzo's bodyguards notices, and in a heartbeat, he draws his gun. Hands where I can see them. The guard barks. Guests gasp. A woman screams. The orchestra begins packing their instruments, trembling. Mina covers her ears, overwhelmed by the vibration of noise she can't fully process. Her world becomes flashes, mouths shouting, hands moving, faces tightening, a chaotic dance she doesn't understand but feels. Don Lorenzo remains seated. His gaze sharpens like a hawk's. No one leaves this room, he says quietly. The guards close the exits. The atmosphere thickens, fear mingled with expensive cologne and spilled wine. The Don rises, brushing off his sleeve. He studies Mina carefully. How did you know? He asks her. You can't hear them. Elena steps forward, trying to shield her daughter. She reads lips, Signore. She has since she was little. The doe's eyes flicker with surprise, then respect. He crouches slightly, meeting Mina's gaze. You read their lips? Mina nods. She wipes her tears and writes again. They said sauce, quiet, and end of era. The Don glances back at the men. The red-tied man's jaw tightens. His companions exchange quick looks, too deliberate to be innocent. Then the Don says softly, in Japanese, you chose the wrong table. The red-tied man's eyes widen. He hadn't expected the Don to speak their language. One of the other men reaches for his jacket, but he never gets the chance. The doe's bodyguards draw. Two silenced shots echo beneath the chandelier's glitter. Glass rains down. Guests scream and duck under tables. The orchestra bolts through the side door. Mina crouches behind her mother, clutching her dress, her hearing aid squealing with interference. She shuts her eyes. She can't tell where the sound ends and her fear begins. When the chaos settles, two of the Japanese men are on the floor. The other two are restrained, bleeding, cursing in their native tongue. Don Lorenzo wipes a drop of wine from his hand as if nothing happened. Take them outside. He orders coldly, no police until I say. His guards obey, dragging the men away. The hall is left in eerie silence, broken only by the clatter of broken porcelain. Mina peeks up at him, terrified of what comes next. Would he punish her? Thank her? She doesn't know. But the Don surprises everyone. He kneels again, lowering himself to her level, a dangerous man bowing to a child. His tone softens. You saved my life, he says quietly. Mina stares at him, uncertain. He glances at Elena. Your daughter's gift. Just exposed a death sentence. Elena shakes her head, tears streaming down. Please, Don Lorenzo, she didn't mean. He raises a hand gently. No apology needed. I owe her more than you can imagine. Mina's small hand clings to her mother's. Her eyes wander to the shattered plate, the spilled sauce, the crimson stains creeping toward the edge of the white tablecloth. She looks up at the Don again. He follows her gaze. He frowns slightly, curious. Then he calls out, Bruno, check that plate. A guard kneels, sniffing the sauce cautiously. Sir, there's something in it. Smells off. Another takes a sample to the side, dipping a metal spoon. Bitter aftertaste. Not natural. Don Lorenzo's jaw tightens. His calm begins to crack. Get the chemist. Now. Mina clings tighter to her mother. She watches the Don pace slowly, like a lion circling its cage. Elena whispers, Mina, look what you've done. But her voice trembles with both fear and pride. Within minutes, a lab kit arrives. The dough's men move efficiently. They drop a few drops of the sauce onto a test strip. The color shifts, pale yellow to deep violet. Confirmed. The guard mutters grimly. It's laced with aconitine, fast-acting cardiac toxin. A murmur ripples through the remaining staff. A few guests who hadn't fled gasp audibly. The Don exhales, slow and dangerous. Aconitine, he repeats. Japanese monk's hood. Yakuza signature. He turns toward the trembling waiter who served the dish, a thin young man sweating bullets. Who sent you with that plate? The waiter stammers. It came from the kitchen, sir. Chef Marco, he said. Marco? The dough's tone drops a degree colder. Bring him here. The waiter nods frantically and runs off. Meanwhile, Mina stands silently, watching. Her eyes dart between faces, lips moving in sharp syllables she struggles to follow. Her hearing aid buzzes again, short bursts of distortion, like whispers trapped in static. Then she catches a phrase. One of the dough's lieutenants, leaning close to another guard, whispers, Someone inside set this up. No way it's just the Yakuza. The words hit her like ice. Inside, there's someone else. Before she can warn anyone, the young waiter suddenly collapses to the ground, clutching his stomach, gasping. Foam bubbles at his lips. People scream again. Elena shields Mina's eyes, but she's already seen too much. Don Lorenzo crouches beside the dying waiter, furious but composed. He was silenced, he says coldly. The poison wasn't just on the plate. It was in his system. The guards exchange glances. Fear flickers even in their hardened faces. Mina watches as the dough's expression changes, not just anger, but calculation. A man who realizes the web is bigger than he thought. He turns back to Mina and Elena. You're staying under my protection until I find out who ordered this. Elena protests weakly. Please, we don't want. But he interrupts. This isn't a request. He glances at Mina again, the smallest smile flickering through the storm. You have sharp eyes, Bambina. Eyes that see what others miss. Mina clutches her notebook. still shaking. She writes something, tears dotting the paper. They looked at each other before it happened, like they were waiting for something. He nods slowly, reading her note. Waiting for someone. He straightens, barking new orders. Search every staff member. Check the kitchen. Nobody leaves this building. As his men scatter, the Don walks to the shattered plate and picks up a small, sharp fragment of porcelain. He studies it for a moment, then glances back at Mina, who's still holding onto her mother's sleeve. Little one, he says quietly, you just saved the most dangerous man in this room. Now I have to figure out who wanted to bury us both. Mina's frightened eyes to the glittering chandeliers overhead, reflecting fractured light across the table, like pieces of truth waiting to be found. She was just a child who watched lips move. But that afternoon, she saw through lies men killed to protect. For a long, heavy moment, no one speaks. Only the faint clatter of a spoon spinning to a stop echoes through the hall. Then, like a fuse lit in slow motion, everything erupts. Guards shout orders. Guests stumble backward. The waitstaff rush to hide. But in the center of it all, Don Lorenzo Vescari stands still, one hand resting on the tablecloth, his sharp eyes moving from the little girl who saved him to the chaos she accidentally unleashed. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Enough. The single word slices through the noise like a blade. Silence. Everyone freezes again, except Mina. She stands trembling beside her mother, her small fingers still gripping the notebook, tears streaking her cheeks. Her chest rises and falls fast, like a bird caught in a storm. Elena kneels, whispering, "Sha. It's over, Tesoro. You did enough." But Mina's eyes dart to the side, to the Japanese men being held at gunpoint near the broken window. They aren't afraid. They're waiting. Something's wrong. She can tell by the way their eyes flick toward the hallway, like they expect someone. Someone late. Mina tugs on her mother's sleeve and quickly writes on her notebook. They're not scared. Someone else is coming. Elena reads it, confused. What do you mean? A sound cuts her off. A low hum, then the click of a latch from the kitchen door. Every guard turns at once. The door opens. A tall man in a chef's coat steps through, carrying a covered silver platter. His expression is calm, almost blank. Don Lorenzo's gaze hardens. "Marco," he says, voice low, "tell me you didn't cook for my funeral." The chef stops. He says nothing. The platter trembles slightly in his hands, not from fear, but from the weight of what he's hiding. Lorenzo's men raise their weapons. But before they can move, the red-tied Japanese man shouts something in his language. The chef reacts instantly, throwing the platter like a shield. Gunfire. Chaos. The silver dome spins across the floor, clattering against the fallen plate fragments. Mina screams silently, covering her ears, crouching under the table. Her hearing aid bursts into static. The Don dives behind a column as bullets rip through the fine linen curtains. The marble walls ring with the sound of war. Guests crawl for safety. Some faint. The orchestra has long fled. When the noise finally stops, the chef lies face down in the bloodied sunlight, a dark stain spreading under his white coat. The platter lies beside him, the lid rolled open to reveal a glass of red wine, untouched, waiting. Don Lorenzo steps forward, his shoes slicking through the mess. He stares at the glass, then at the Japanese men, still restrained, still glaring. He kneels beside the chef's body. "Marco," he murmurs, "you could have just walked away." But Marco's lips twitch, a final ghost of a smile. He's gone. Mina peeks from under the table, her small hands clutching her mother's arm. She sees the dough's reflection in the puddle of wine, calm, cold, unreadable. Then, for the first time, he looks old. Not in age, but in burden. He turns toward Mina. "You saw something, didn't you?" She hesitates, nods slowly. She writes again. They were waiting for him. Chef wasn't scared. He looked at them before he came out. The Don reads the words, his eyes narrowing. So it was coordinated. He gestures to his men. "Check the chef's quarters. His phone, his records, everything. If this was an inside job, I want the name that paid for it." His right-hand man, Salvatore, nods and leaves with two others. But as he walks away, Mina notices something strange. He doesn't look angry. He looks worried, almost guilty. Her gaze lingers on him longer than a child's should. His lips move, fast, quiet, whispering something to another guard near the exit. She can't hear the sound, but she catches one word. "Finish." Her stomach twists. She tugs on her mother again. "Mama." She tries to whisper, pointing at Salvatore. "Him." But Elena is too busy thanking the dawn, too shaken to notice. You saved us all, she murmurs to Mina, hugging her tight. It's over now. It isn't. Mina knows it isn't. The hall has been sealed off. Police cars flash outside the gates, but none are allowed in. The press swarms the fences. The world already smells scandal. Inside, under the daylight pouring through broken glass, Don Lorenzo sits at the head table again, this time alone. His hands are steady, but his jaw is tense. Across from him, two of his men interrogate the surviving Japanese guests. Their translator trembles, translating every line. We were ordered by Kyoto clan, but our contact here was local, a man named Salvatore. The Don freezes. Outside, Nina sits with her mother in a side room, a first aid team checking her for injuries. Her hands won't stop shaking. She keeps looking toward the door, as if expecting it to burst open again. Through the half-open blinds, she sees him, Salvatore, pacing in the hallway, talking on his phone. She can't hear him clearly, but she knows how to watch lips. She's done it all her life. His words form slowly, deliberately. Tell them to prepare the second dose. Coffee, this time. The boss trusts me. Mina's eyes widen. Coffee. He means the espresso the Dawn drinks after every meal. She looks around. No one's watching. Her mother is busy signing paperwork with the medic. Mina grabs her notebook and runs. Her tiny feet echo down the marble hallway. Guards call after her, but she doesn't stop. She bursts through the grand doors back into the main hall where the Don sits. Cambina? He says, startled. What? She slams her notebook onto the table, flipping it open with both hands. Scrawled in shaky letters. Don't drink coffee. Salvatore bad. The Don frowns, confused. Salvatore? From behind him, the man himself enters, holding a small silver tray. 2 cups of espresso, steaming, rich, perfect. He sets it down gently. One for you, boss, he says softly. One for me. The Don studies him. His voice remains calm. She says, you're a traitor, Salvatore. A faint chuckle. A child's nerves. She's been through too much. Mina shakes her head furiously, writing faster. I read lips. He said poison. In coffee. Salvatore's smile fades. For a split second, too short for anyone else to see, his eyes flick toward the tray. The Don sees it. And that's all it takes. In one motion, Lorenzo grabs the tray and throws it to the floor. Both cups shatter, the black liquid spilling across the marble like ink. Salvatore freezes. Boss, he starts. But Lorenzo doesn't let him finish. His pistol is already drawn. You killed my chef. You brought the Yakuza into my hall. And you thought you'd kill me with coffee? The hall trembles with his voice. Salvatore's mask drops. His politeness vanishes. You've gone soft, Lorenzo. You used to rule with fear. Now you hide behind children. He reaches for his own gun, but he's too slow. 2 gunshots echo through the daylight. Salvatore falls backward, eyes wide, blood blooming through his white shirt. The smell of burnt coffee lingers in the air. Mina covers her face, shaking. The Don lowers his gun, exhaling, his composure returning, his mask back in place. He looks down at Mina. You did it again, little one. But his voice isn't relief. It's exhaustion. He kneels, placing a heavy hand on her shoulder. If you hadn't seen his lips, I'd be dead twice today. She looks up at him, eyes full of both fear and guilt. She writes slowly. You'd have seen it too. You just don't look anymore. He freezes, struck by the truth in her words. For the first time, the mighty Don Viscari seems small, human. He stands, looking around at the ruin of his empire's illusion, the broken glass, the corpses, the spilled wine, the frightened servants, all in broad daylight. All because of a quiet little girl who saw too much. He turns to his men. Clean this place, and find out who else Salvatore was talking to. This doesn't end here. As they move to obey, Lorenzo looks back at Mina, this small, trembling figure holding a notebook like a weapon. He says quietly, almost to himself, You stopped time twice today, little angel, but I fear it's still ticking. The shattered coffee cups on the floor, the sunlight hitting the spilled liquid like black glass. A single drop falls from the table, echoing as it hits the marble, tick, tick, tick. She silenced death twice in one afternoon. But the poison in their circle ran deeper than any drink. The once glorious marble floor is cracked, swept clean but haunted. Servants whisper. Guards watch every shadow. And from the balcony, Don Lorenzo Viscari surveys it all with the quiet fury of a king betrayed. Below, Mina sits beside her mother, clutching her notebook like a secret diary of danger. Her hearing aid buzzes softly, half broken from the gunfire. Still, her sharp eyes see everything. Elena brushes a strand of hair behind Mina's ear, her voice low and trembling. "Sweetheart, we should leave. You've done enough." But Mina shakes her head, scribbling quickly. "They're still lying. Someone else helped him." Elena glances toward the Don, then back at her daughter. "You're imagining things, Tesoro. The bad men are gone." Mina writes again, her hand shaking. "He's not bad. He's scared." Her mother frowns, confused until she follows Mina's gaze. The Don, standing in the full daylight, no longer untouchable, no longer smiling. He looks older today, his suit wrinkled, his shoulders heavy. A powerful man surrounded by ghosts of his own making. Two guards drop a blood-stained folder on his desk. Inside, Marco's phone cracked. The chef's final texts glow faintly on the screen. "Unknown number. Deliver at noon. Payment doubled. Marco. Too dangerous. He trusts me. Unknown number. He won't after today." Lorenzo's jaw tightens. He looks up at his advisor. The number? Encrypted. Routed through 3 countries. But the last ping was Naples. He slams the desk. "My own city." The guard flinches. "Boss, we found something else." He hands Lorenzo a folded note, torn from a child's notebook. Words scrawled in Mina's handwriting. "Someone watches through the mirrors." Lorenzo freezes. "When did she write this?" The guard hesitates. "We don't know, sir. It was found under the table." A slow, creeping realization dawns. The mirrors, lining the banquet hall walls, imported from Japan as gifts from the Yamaguchi clan. He stands abruptly. "Get the girl." Courtyard, sunlight filtering through olive trees. Birds scatter as 2 guards approach Mina and Elena. Elena stiffens, holding her daughter close. "What's happening?" Dawn wants to speak to her. She's a child. But Mina touches her mother's hand gently, shaking her head. She writes, "It's okay, Mama." He listens. Elena hesitates, then lets her go, her heart pounding as Mina walks between 2 tall guards toward the villa. Inside the banquet hall, now eerily empty. Dust dances in daylight beams. Don Lorenzo kneels by one of the mirrors, large, ornate, perfect. But up close, he sees it. A small camera lens hidden in the silver frame. He turns to Mina as she enters. "You saw this before?" She nods. "During lunch." They weren't eating. They were watching. He stares at her, amazed, frightened, almost proud. "You have sharper eyes than every man I pay." Mina doesn't smile. She just points toward the other mirrors. "All of them," she writes. Guards move fast, tearing down mirrors one by one, revealing thin wires leading to a hidden control box near the kitchen door. Lorenzo opens it, and his breath catches. Inside, a listening device stamped with a familiar crest. Not Yakuza, not rivals. His own family crest. His blood runs cold. He whispers, "No, no, no. This wasn't foreign. This was inside." He looks back at Mina, his eyes dark. "Who was near this door when the chaos started?" Mina writes instantly, "Salvatore, and the man with the cane." The Don freezes. The man with the cane. Riccardo Viscari, his own brother, absent from the gala, claiming illness. Lorenzo's fists clench. The betrayal burns through his veins like acid. He stands slowly. "Mina," he says, voice thick with fury and fear. "You've seen things no one should. If you keep seeing, they'll come for you." Mina tilts her head, curious, unafraid. She writes, "Then I'll keep writing." He almost smiles, a sad, broken flicker of admiration. "You remind me of my daughter," he whispers. "She saw truth too. It killed her." The words hang in the air like smoke. Flashback. Golden daylight over the Amalfi Coast. A young girl, same age as Mina, runs through a garden, laughing. Lorenzo follows, smiling for once. Then, a scream. Tires. Shattered glass. A car explodes near the gate. Back to present. The doe's eyes glisten. "They called it an accident," he says softly. "But I saw the same pattern then. Lies, silence, betrayal." He kneels beside Mina, meeting her gaze. "You've given me something no one else could cite." She writes one last note, slow and careful. "Then don't look away again." The sunlight catches the tear rolling down his cheek. Elena waiting outside, pacing anxiously. When Mina returns, her hands are ink-stained, her face pale but calm. What did he want? Elena asks. Mina just hugs her, long, tight, wordless. But before Elena can ask more, a shadow moves across the courtyard. A black car glides up the driveway. Two men step out, wearing the same crest the Don carries on his ring. Riccardo Vescari emerges, older, limping, but his smile is sharp as glass. "Where's my brother?" he asks. Inside the villa, moments later, Lorenzo and Riccardo stand face to face, sunlight flooding between them, two lions under the same sky. "You sent men into my home," Lorenzo says. Riccardo tilts his head. "No, brother. I sent a message." He gestures toward Mina through the glass window. "And it seems your new little messenger reads lips too well." Lorenzo's finger curls on his trigger. "You killed my chef. You poisoned my name." Riccardo steps closer, calm. "You killed our legacy. The moment you chose kindness over power. You let a waitress's child dictate who lives and dies." He glances toward Mina and Elena. "She won't save you next time." Before Lorenzo can move, Riccardo turns, vanishing back into daylight, his men following. Lorenzo exhales, slow, broken. It's not over. Sunset washing over the villa. Mina sits by the fountain, watching ripples in the water. Elena joins her quietly. "You shouldn't be near him anymore," she says gently. "He's dangerous." Mina writes, "So are secrets." "He has too many." Elena sighs, hugging her tight. "You're my only light in this darkness, my little miracle. Promise me we'll leave soon." Mina hesitates. Her eyes wander toward the balcony, where the Don stands alone, staring into the dying sun. "After I help him see everything," she writes. Her mother's voice breaks. "Mina," but the girl just squeezes her hand. It's almost over. Evening shadows stretching across the marble floor. Inside the villa, a single candle flickers beside a half-empty glass of wine. The Don studies a map covered in red pins, tracing lines between cities, names, betrayals. Every route leads back to one thing: his brother. Outside, Mina watches him through the glass. Her reflection overlaps his, two souls bound by the same truth. One who lost his sight to power, and one who sees too much for her own good. A gust of wind blows the candle out. Darkness. Then, the faint sound of a car engine approaching. Mina's hearing aid buzzes again, loud, shrill, warning. She looks toward the gate. Headlights. Too many. Her notebook slips from her fingers as realization hits. She runs to the window, slapping it hard, pointing frantically toward the driveway. The Don looks up, confusion giving way to dread as he sees what she sees. Black cars. 4 of them, bearing his brother's crest. He grabs his gun, shouting orders. Guards rush to their posts, weapons drawn. The quiet villa, once drenched in sunlight, turns into a fortress on the edge of war. Mina's terrified face lit by flashing headlights to the villa surrounded by hills, daylight fading into a blood-red sky. She read lips and saw death before it spoke. But now, the silence is coming for her. The world stands still again. From the balcony above, Don Lorenzo Vescari watches the convoy enter. His face is stone, but his heartbeat drums against the silence. Below him, Mina grips her mother's hand. Her hearing aid whines with static, catching distant murmurs like ghosts whispering through glass. "Stay with me," Elena pleads. "Don't let go." Mina nods, eyes locked on the courtyard. The doors open. Riccardo Vescari, the Doe's brother, steps out in a crisp white suit, holding a cane like a sword. Around him, armed men fan out with mechanical precision. "Good afternoon, brother," he calls, his voice carrying across the courtyard like silk over steel. "I thought I'd drop by." Uninvited, Lorenzo steps into the light, unarmed but unflinching. "You brought soldiers into my home." Riccardo smirks. "No, Lorenzo. I brought truth." He gestures toward the broken mirrors still stacked near the doorway. "You spy on everyone, yet you never see what's right in front of you. The world has changed. You ruled by fear. I'll rule by order." He looks toward Mina and Elena. "And I'll start by removing your distractions." Lorenzo's hand twitches near his jacket. "You touch them, and daylight will turn red." Gunfire erupts, sharp, deafening, echoing through the villa walls. Guards dive behind pillars. Glass explodes into a rain of diamonds. Mina screams silently, pulling her mother down behind the fountain. Her hearing aid overloads, then cuts out, leaving her in complete, trembling silence. But her eyes still work. She sees it all in horrifying clarity. Men shouting orders. Muzzle flashes. the dawn moving like a ghost through sunlight and dust. And Ricardo standing calm, watching it unfold, lips curling around words she can't hear but reads perfectly. Aim for the girl. Her chest tightens. She grabs a pebble and hurls it toward the dawn, missing him by inches. He turns, confusion flashing across his face, just in time to see a gunman taking aim from the stairs. Bang! Lorenzo spins, firing first. The attacker falls. He looks back at Mina, realization dawning. She's not just surviving this. She's saving him again. Mina in slow motion as she runs through the courtyard, dodging bullets, sunlight flashing off shattered marble. Elena screams her name, chasing her. But the girl keeps going, heading straight toward the open gate. She sees Ricardo shouting orders, gesturing to the cars. She can't hear the words, but his lips say it clearly. Bring the case. Detonate inside. Her small hands shake as she flips open her notebook, scribbling wildly. Mom, car, inside. She waves it high, shouting voicelessly toward the dawn. He sees it, and the world slows. Bomb, he yells. His men scatter, dragging the wounded away. He leaps down the marble steps, grabs Mina, and pulls her behind a column just as, boom, the explosion rips through the air, turning sunlight into fire. The nearest car becomes a ball of flame, debris raining across the courtyard. Mina's hearing aid sparks and dies completely. All that remains is silence and the vibration of her own heartbeat. Lorenzo shields her with his coat. Smoke swirls around them. Stay with me, Bambina. Don't look. But she does look, and sees Ricardo through the haze, walking toward them, untouched, smiling. Inside the smoke, two brothers, two worlds, one moment. Ricardo stops a few meters away, raising his cane, which clicks open to reveal a hidden blade. Family always ends family, he says. Lorenzo steadies his gun. Then let's end the curse. He fires, but Ricardo dives, the bullet grazing his shoulder. The blade flashes. The two men collide, crashing into the fountain's edge, grappling under the sunlight. Every movement echoes like thunder in Mina's silent world, water splashing, mouths shouting, the struggle between blood and betrayal. She watches, trembling, unable to help, until she sees something glint near her foot. A pistol, dropped by a fallen guard. She grabs it, the weight too heavy for her small hands, but her eyes steady. She's seen enough violence to know where it leads. Her mother rushes to her, crying, Mina, no. But the girl shakes her head, points to the dawn. Ricardo has pinned him down, blade against his throat. Mina steps forward. Sunlight hits her face. The world holds its breath. She can't hear, but she reads her mother's lips. Please don't. Her hands tremble. Then, suddenly, Lorenzo twists, flipping Ricardo onto the ground. The blade clatters away. The dawn stands, bleeding, shaking. He takes the gun from Mina's hands, kneels beside her, voice raw with emotion. You've done enough, little one, he says softly. No more blood from your eyes. He looks at his brother, broken, coughing, defeated. This is where it ends. Ricardo spits blood. Then finish it. The dawn raises his gun, but stops. He lowers it slowly. No, you'll rot in the light. Let the world see what you are. He turns to his men. Call the police. Ricardo laughs, bitter and hollow. You'd betray your own blood to them? No, Lorenzo says quietly. I'm saving what's left of my soul. Later that afternoon, smoke clearing, police sirens echoing through the villa gates. Officers handcuff Ricardo, dragging him away. Reporters shout questions. Cameras flash. Lorenzo stands in the open courtyard, his empire reduced to ashes and truth. Mina sits on the steps, watching the chaos with tired eyes. Elena kneels beside her, brushing dust from her face. It's over, her mother whispers. Mina looks up at the dawn. He meets her gaze, and for the first time, he smiles, small, real, broken but alive. He kneels before her. You saved me more times than any man here. You saw what I couldn't. She writes one last message in her notebook and holds it up to him. Now you can see too. He reads it, his throat tight, and nods. Sunlight floods the courtyard, blinding, beautiful, pure. For once, the silence feels peaceful. Weeks later, the villa has been rebuilt, quieter, simpler. Mina and her mother pack their things. The dawn watches from the balcony as they prepare to leave. He calls out, Where will you go? Elena smiles faintly. Someplace quieter, where she can listen to the world again. He nods. She'll always have a place here. Mina waves, a small, knowing smile, and then signs with her hands. Don't look away. He nods once. Never again. As the car drives away, sunlight glints off the notebook she leaves behind on the table. The first page reads, "Sometimes silence saves lives. Sometimes it screams louder than bullets." The wind flips the page, revealing a drawing of three figures: a little girl, her mother, and a man in a suit standing under a golden sun. She couldn't hear the danger, but she saw it, and because she did, a man found his soul again in the daylight he once feared.